Welcome back to the Thinking Crypto podcast, your home for cryptocurrency news and interviews. Big and bullish news to share with you all. Australia has approved a Bitcoin spot ETF. This is big time because it's, of course, a spot ETF is settled in physical Bitcoin versus the future, which is settled in paper. And $1 billion is expected to flow into this ETF, guys. So I want to break down what's happening here, and as well as the pressure it puts on the SEC and Gary Gensler, which have failed to approve the Bitcoin spot ETF here in the United States. Also, Robinhood has purchased a crypto exchange. Massive expansion happening, guys, with these companies. Despite what's going on with the price, we're seeing everybody's doing a land grab, trying to acquire, expand, get their licenses, invest money. And I also want to talk about two major crypto funds, which include hundreds of millions of dollars that are ready to invest into tokens and equity and crypto companies and much more. Before we get to it, please go ahead and hit the thumbs up button, leave a comment below, and hit the subscribe button if you're new here. It helps support the channel and it doesn't cost you anything. Heads up, guys, earlier today, I uploaded my interview with Chris Giancarlo, who is, of course, a former CFTC chairman and part of the Digital Dollar Project. And we talk about the United States CBDC and the pilots that have started. It's very fascinating, guys. We're headed to that digital token economy, and CBDCs are going to be a big part of it. So be sure to check it out. He has some great insights into crypto regulations and the market and CBDCs and much more. Now, a quick word from our sponsor, and that is Taxbit, which is the leading tax service provider in the crypto industry. Taxbit allows you to easily calculate your crypto gains and losses. I've been using them for years. I use them again for this tax season. I just print out my forms and I give them to my accountant, guys. It's so easy. And a lot of Taxbit's technology is already integrated into many exchanges. So I can certainly vouch for this platform because I've been using it, and it's really, really easy to use, easy to set up. And man, I just got to say, it makes my life easy, because years ago, I used to do my taxes in spreadsheets as it relates to crypto, my crypto trades. Now, Taxbit automates all of it. I have my account running all year long. If I make a trade, I do some swing trade, I can right away see what my tax liabilities are. So this is a really great platform. Be sure to check it out. Link in the description. Now let's look at the market here. We are seeing some green today. Bitcoin at $41,314. As we've been discussing, we're expecting a bounce this week because tax sell-off has completed, with tax day being yesterday. So right now in the weekly chart, we see a green candle forming for Bitcoin. We're, of course, monitoring Bitcoin's retracement up to about 58K, at which point we're expecting an alt season. And I have a pretty big update for you guys as far as what that timeline looks like, approximately. Obviously, it's just a thesis. There are no guarantees here. If you look at the daily chart, it's Bitcoin is just ranging. Here it's within this channel, and it's forming higher highs and higher lows, but it's at a very slow pace. It's snail's pace at this point. So we just got to be patient and take it easy. If the price is not doing much, I just walk away from the price. I don't look at it until things start to really move strongly. So I think what we can anticipate, though, is a bounce upwards here, maybe another higher high and then a higher low, and then it'll keep ranging until Bitcoin maybe hits its retracement peak. And here's something I want to share from Blockchain Backer, which gives kind of a timeline of when we can expect that Bitcoin, Ethereum will have their retracement peaks, and when alt season will start firing off. And his timeline looks at around September. So some people may be like, "Oh man, we got to wait all summer." Well, look, this is not guaranteed, but at least he's using data and facts to form a thesis. And that's what we want to do. We can't use our emotions and feelings and our wants and wishes, but rather, what is the data? What does the trends tell us? So here's what he tweeted out with regards to this chart. It's a comparison of the Bitcoin and Ethereum charts. The Bitcoin chart from 2018, when Bitcoin did its retracement and alts started popping off, and just showing here Ethereum into this year and how it's looking on the charts is very similar pattern. So he says, if Ethereum continues to follow the bear market structure of an ABC correction, as Bitcoin did at the top in 2018, it would actually finish its retrace around the earlier half of September if it keeps following the timing schedule it's been moving on. So that's the thesis based on the data we have right now and using past performance. But look, it may not follow this schedule. It could be happen next month, right? I'm just throwing it out there. It could happen next month or in June versus September, or it could happen till December. We just don't know. No one can predict the future. And if anyone tells you this is exactly what's going to play out, please ask them for the winning lottery numbers for next week so I can go play them and become a millionaire that way. So at this point, guys, this is about probabilities and forming a thesis and waiting patiently to see what plays out. Now, regardless of that, another big signal that I'm paying attention to is that the exchange outflows, a lot of Bitcoin and crypto leaving the exchanges, and different metrics and analytics platforms like crypto quant and so forth are noticing lots of Bitcoin leaving exchanges like Coinbase. For example, here's the headline: Bitcoin institutional buying could be a big narrative again as 30K Bitcoin leaves Coinbase. So we're seeing the accumulation happening. And as we talked about in yesterday's video, this is a decent accumulation phase. It's not the best because it's not where, when you look at these respective charts, it's not the lows, right? It is the halfway point. It's not the blow off top, but it's the halfway point. So there is a risk here that, obviously the price could go down and you're at a loss. However, as I said in yesterday's video, if you're looking at it macro level from a yearly standpoint, then it doesn't matter. You're like Michael Saylor, right? You're just buying and you're holding. Just to give an example, obviously there's other big time players who are buying and just holding and looking from a yearly standpoint. So it's all about your perspective and your outlook. There's a certain amount of coins that I'm not going to sell until future bull markets, right? In 2024 and beyond that. But there is some I'm going to sell to take profits and get my money, right? Because I'm here to make money. But I'm also fully aware and self-aware that, hey, I've seen what this market can do and it continues to grow if you have patience and go through the market cycles. So I know higher prices are coming, higher than what we've seen already. Just like if I've been here since 2016. So I saw the high prices in 2017. And then all of a sudden I saw the high prices in 2020 into 2021. So I'm looking at things from a macro perspective, guys. All right, let's move ahead. Australia's first Bitcoin ETF set to be launched next week. The Cosmos Asset Management Bitcoin ETF will invest in the Purpose Bitcoin ETF listed in Toronto, Canada. There is speculation that $1 billion will flow into the country's first Bitcoin ETF. This is pretty bullish. Trading could begin on the CBOE Australia as early as April 27th, following a 7-day notice period. Huge news, my friends. And this is certainly, this is verified. So it's being reported by one of the Financial Review here. And it goes into details about what they're going to be doing. Very, very bullish news. And it further puts pressure on the United States SEC and Gary Gensler. They have failed to approve a Bitcoin spot ETF. Folks in the industry have called them out. Grayscale said they will sue the SEC, and I hope they do. I hope the other applicants also sue the SEC. And something to note, Australia is the 8th country to approve a spot Bitcoin ETF. So this was confirmed by Bloomberg. And the rest of the world is moving ahead here, and hopefully the SEC can get this right. Maybe this Bitcoin ETF in the United States, the spot ETF, gets approved into the retracement peak of Bitcoin. I don't know. Sometimes the news aligns with the charts. Funny how that happens, huh? So we'll see what happens here, guys. But nevertheless, things are moving ahead across the world. And remember, it starts with Bitcoin. You're going to have the Bitcoin spot ETF approved. Then altcoins are going to start getting their spot ETFs. And remember, spot ETFs are physically settled in the actual asset versus futures, which is settled via paper. So very, very bullish news, guys. And you can already see that they're reporting $1 billion could flow into this. Here's the actual verbiage from the article. There is speculation $1 billion will flow into the country's first Bitcoin ETF. So very great news here. Now, speaking of Bitcoin ETF, a NASDAQ executive, getting a Bitcoin and crypto spot ETF approved in the United States is a high priority for us. So we have all the big players here, Fidelity, NASDAQ, and all these folks, Goldman Sachs, Morgan Stanley. A lot of these folks are trying to get their Bitcoin ETFs approved. And if those big names are here and you have Goldman Gary Gensler sitting at the SEC, I'm sure he'll probably get his banking buddies ETFs approved first. We'll see what happens, but we're moving in the right direction. As much as we're frustrated with the SEC, we're still moving in the right direction here, and we got to be patient. Now, here's some other big news. Robinhood acquires British crypto firm Ziglu to push expansion plans. Robinhood has renewed its global expansion plans by acquiring the British crypto firm Ziglu after aborting its UK expansion back in 2020. Now, I wonder why they're all of a sudden hot and heavy about expanding, guys. There's money to be made here. They know what's happening, and a lot of folks who, their demographics who use the Robinhood app to buy stocks and so forth are also the same demographic that buys crypto. So they started listing crypto, and now they're looking to expand. Now, I want you to think about this. The price has been not exciting at all. It's obviously down from its all-time highs, and there's uncertainty and fear in the market. So why are they expanding now? Why are they spending the money to acquire a company? Why are all these crypto companies getting ready to hire more people, and they're filing for licenses and doing all these things? Cost capital. It costs money, right? You have to invest. They know they're making that investment to prepare for when this thing goes fully mainstream. I hope that's sinking in, and that is thinking from the business standpoint. And you really have to understand the dynamics of that. If there was, fear and uncertainty to where folks were, oh my gosh, really worried about what's going to happen in the market. You're like, oh my gosh, what are we going to do? Are we going to be able to make money? Are we going to be able to maintain the profitability? They wouldn't be doing this, guys. But they know all these investments will pay off, and it is a land grab to go get as much market share, because when this thing hits mainstream, oh my goodness, and a lot of people who were full naysayers and ignored it are going to be FOMOing in. You talk about euphoria, right? Because we're talking about full mainstream adoption. So Robinhood officially announced Tuesday that it had signed a deal to acquire Ziglu, subject to regulatory approvals and other closing conditions. The firm declined to disclose the size of the deal to Cointelegraph. Here is a quote: subject to regulatory approval, in the near term, nothing will change for current Ziglu customers. Longer term, it will integrate Ziglu more fully into Robinhood, bring the Robinhood brand overseas, and work to expand operations beyond the UK into Europe, the spokesperson for Robinhood said. So it's not going to stop here. They're going to go to other markets, guys. And we see a lot of crypto exchanges are doing the same thing. In fact, there's news of Binance US. They just moved to like Puerto Rico, or they got licensing in Puerto Rico. So things are moving ahead. And, that's the perspective I try to share with you guys. It's not just, okay, what does it say on the charts, but rather what is happening macro level? What is happening from a mergers and acquisitions standpoint, from a business standpoint, because that is certainly a big indication as to where things are headed. Are people scared? Are they not investing? Are they not expanding? Are they not building? If they're not, then we should be worried. But if they are, that's just another sign of they see what's on the horizon. And many of them have more information than you and I. They speak to regulators, they speak to other folks in the industry, and they do a lot of data and mining, data research and analytics and trends and so forth. They know, and they're studying sentiment and all these things. So, we're looking at it mostly from the outside, but we can see where the money is going and the business moves that are happening. Now, here's another exchange. KuCoin-backed companies launch $100 million Web3 developer fund. The fund will support early-stage NFT projects that are contributing to the growth and development of the Web3 economy. So, case in point here, guys, more funds are popping up and they're raising the capital. Yesterday, we talked about Dan Moorhead's Pantera Capital, and that was that fund started out looking for $600 million. They got oversubscribed, and they're at $1.3 billion. There is demand to invest in crypto, and a lot of the capital is coming in. And here's another example. Framework Ventures launches $400 million DeFi fund targeting gaming Web3 startups. Framework Ventures, known for early stage DeFi investments, said blockchain gaming could see significant growth over the next 5 years. So obviously all these things are going to be running on crypto blockchain networks, right? Whether it be Cardano, Algorand, Ethereum, Avalanche, XRP Ledger, whatever it is, right? They're going to be running on a lot of these blockchains, and that brings value to the tokens because you have more adoption, more of the token usage within the network as well. So pretty exciting what's happening. Finally, we're talking a lot about exchanges, and we just see the moves they're making. FTX Exchange, Washington, D.C. office today with the hardest, let's see, they tweeted this out in a very short manner. So I want to make sure I'm saying things in a proper way. So FTX essentially opened up a Washington, D.C. office today with their head of policy in the business. And they have been lobbying and educating a lot of folks in DC. If you haven't seen my interview with the president of FTX, this was 2 weeks ago, Brett Harrison, be sure to check that out. I'll put a link in the description. They're one of the biggest exchanges with a lot of money, a lot of influence and power. They're obviously partnered with Tom Brady, Steph Curry, and so forth. They did a Super Bowl ad. They bought the Miami Arena NBA team. They're building their arena's naming rights, and they're doing a lot of work to push crypto regulations forward in Washington, D.C., lobbying, advocating, education. So when I see them making moves like this, it's certainly something we want to call out and highlight, guys, because they're not a small fish. They're a whale amongst the exchanges, and once again, doing a lot of things to move the market forward. So anyway, guys, that's the news. Let me know what you think. Do you agree with blockchain backers' timeline here, possibly seeing that retracement peak in September? Obviously, it could happen sooner or later, but this is, I think, a solid thesis here based on the charts and how things look. And we just got to be patient. Let me know what you all think, and I'll talk to you all later.